Hey guys, welcome to another exciting episode of the MFGCast. We did it 2 nights in a row, people. We had awesome board game stuff yesterday. Now we have awesome RPG stuff today. You may see some faces that you already know, but I'm going to talk about them anyway. And a new one that I'm excited to talk to that if you actually search the internet somewhere, we have actually been in the same space before. It's pretty crazy. But I am glad to say that we are going to be playing some Alas for the Awful Sea by Storybrewers. And who is going to be doing this awesome thing for us? Vee is going to be GMing for us. Vee, thank you for coming back on. It's been so long.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me, everyone. It has been too long, and I am so pumped to be able to play Alas for the Awful Sea. Today, we've been super not in that headspace for a little bit. So it's been really good to get the sad sea feels again.
That's awesome. And to play with us, one of the creators of this awesome RPG, Hayley G, is on. Thank you, Hayley, for coming on and being on with us also and playing with us. It's awesome.
My pleasure. I'm very excited. I really get to play in things that I have also written, so it's a little bit of fun for me.
Because you know everything, so then you're just like, oh, this is so easy.
But yeah, no, not quite. So that's kind of why it is so fun.
Nice. That's awesome. Speaking of awesome RPGs that are gonna possibly be coming out in the future, I've got 2 wonderful gentlemen that are working on Descent into Midnight, the RPG. I've got our good friend Taylor. Thank you for coming on again, young sir.
Hell yeah. I'm ecstatic every time I'm on MFGCast, and I am super, super pumped to be playing Alas for the Awful Sea because it is extremely my jam. I really want to funnel people towards this game and everything else that the Storybrewers make. You two are fantastic designers and really, really, really good. So thank you for having me on and giving me this opportunity.
Yeah, of course. That's awesome. And then a new friend to the show, but not to me. We actually got to play an awesome mass game that Taylor was able to run. And Richard, it's good to see you again, my friend.
You too, man. It's good to be back. I couldn't help but notice, Taylor, you've got a very cool pillow there.
Oh, how did... You're right. How did this get here? Who could have possibly mailed this to me? I wonder.
A giant fish pillow, yes. But yeah, I'm super excited to be here, man. The idea of playing a game that you've written is just so weird to me because I feel like, even with Descent into Midnight, which we're actively working on right now, I feel like I have forgotten about 90% of it, even as I'm going through and editing the draft and working on it. It's like, oh my goodness. But yeah, it's so much fun, and I am really looking forward to this. And I'm hoping that my accent won't just cause people to cringe and die and wither.
Well, it will be entertaining for sure. So let's get this thing started. So Vee, I shall hand the reins to you.
All right. Well, we're doing a scenario today, a one-shot scenario. It's called The Wind and the Waves. It's a very self-contained scenario, so it's got very strong setting and character backgrounds, and when we're going to start, we're going to start. So I've given everyone their backgrounds. We'll do the character creation portion on screen, but hopefully it won't take too long. So to start off, I just wanted to canvas that we're also using X-Card safety tools. So if anything happens that you're not happy about, feel free. I assume everyone's read the materials, so we'll probably just dive into everyone doing their initial appearance section of their character sheets. And having a think about filling out those descriptions. And then when someone's ready, we'll sort of do a quick intro with them to sort of their bios, what their appearance is like, what broad strokes your character's like.
All right. Okay. I suppose we need a name as well.
Yeah. So it's important, I guess, to by way of background, there's certain relationships that are already established in the fiction from those background sheets. So, Kurt, you're playing the lover. You've got a character who is your lover that is an NPC, but you're also related to the kinsman, who's being played by Richard. So you guys are related. And Hayley, you're playing the outcast, who's related to Kurt's loved person. If that makes sense. So I guess for now it's important to know that Kurt and Richard, you guys are siblings or cousins or some other form of relation.
Right.
Well, I'll start with mine. Oh, no, go ahead.
I was gonna say, if we want to really like entangle everything, I could volunteer for the lover, and have you said that Hayley is related to the love interest, who is the love interest, obviously, of the lover, who is related to the kinsman, and we could just string us all in like that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
that's where I was going.
You're happy with being in love with Kurt's character?
Oh yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
I volunteer.
All right, that's tribute.
Yes, I'm into it.
That sounds great. Let's do that.
How will that work with the scenario? That you reckon might have to change a few things around.
Oh yeah, I'll read you. I mean, that wasn't initially in the background, but I think we could do it that way.
Okay.
And it'll probably be all right. I didn't see why.
I misinterpreted in thinking that the love interest was an NPC.
What I was thinking, if you don't mind, what I was thinking of is because Taylor's character is the old sea dog, is that the old sea dog is always talking about, and we'll kind of tie this together. He's also a creature that hides. Okay. So I would feel Richard's face. I would feel that because he is the creature, that he talks about the creature because he's the old salty dog. So he's always got these stories, and he's always got these things that he talks about. Well, he talks about this creature, and this creature, has certain, personality traits and stuff like that. And me as a person, I am in love with the fact that there's this creature out there. And I thought I would tie it into my character as being a merchant because I picked something out of nowhere. I picked a spiny boxfish, and I picked that as like its favorite food because the old salty dog actually talks about this this is its favorite food, and it's so let's
hear the
go back.
Scenario first.
Let's go back a step because we'll set up this. Let's actually just start set up the scenario. We will start with you, Kurt, as the lover. So the scenario starts in 1824. We're all in it's the Outer Hebrides, which is like this remote chain of island off the coast of Scotland. It's very remote and cold and dark. You are the lover, and you've during the last year you've fallen madly in love with another character, with this NPC, with another person. And today the scenario starts with you sailing here with the purpose of taking that one you love back to your home. So you actually live about 6 hours away on the mainland, and you're sailing across this narrow strait of water called the Minch to this barren rock island where your lover lives. And you're going to take them back with you to start your own lives together. You are also the sister, brother, or cousin of the kinsman. So we've got a couple of questions for your character. You've never met, by the way, the loves family or that sort of thing. You don't really spend much time on that small island that they live on, and you mainly live on the mainland. So the questions we've got for you: what is the name of the one you love?
So am I picking Taylor's character, or am I picking somebody else?
Someone else. Let's do it as so someone else.
Okay.
I see Taylor shaking his head there. So this will be an NPC. I'll play. You're loved.
Okay. Boy. I'll go a different direction, and then I will say Pamela Adams. I'll say that.
Okay. And what do they look like?
She's very plain, long brown hair, very straight, very plain clothes. But when she smiles, she has a smile that is extraordinary. It's, she tries to hide how special she really is.
In your eyes. So where did you guys meet, and how did you fall in love?
Because I'm a merchant, I'll say that I was, on the mainland selling, certain things, and she was just looking around and was not interested in what I had to say one bit. She was interested in what was on the table. And, I just kind of got a little bit out of her than I had expected, but it wasn't as much as you would think. It was just anything would have been good enough for me, but, for her, she's just grabbing, something for her sister or whatever, and then she's leaving.
Yeah. So that was how you fell in love with her. So why did she fall in love with you? So how did your relationship progress?
I'm gonna say because she didn't really notice me all that much at first. I'll say that I'm gonna say that she was looking around at another merchant's table on a different day, and happened to push a piece of something freshly made and knocked it on the ground. And this merchant wasn't too happy about it, and demanded you're going to pay for you're going to pay for this food because it's it's not easy to get this kind of stuff. And I kind of came to her rescue, not in the way that you would think, like knight on a riding on a shining horse or whatever, just kind of like more of a hey, what's that? Push him over and then we run away kind of thing,
Oh, okay.
So
the cowardly way. Excellent.
Yeah, exactly. Run away, everybody, run away.
Cool. And that's how you met. And then why are you in love with Pam? Like, what do you love most about Pamela?
What I love the most about her is that she doesn't expect anyone from anyone else. She does for everyone, and she does not care what she gets in return. And and before I met her, I was the opposite. I did everything for myself, even though I love my brother to death. Like, secretly, he doesn't know that, at a drop of a hat, I may do something that would get him in trouble.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. So you are the lover and the merchant. Tell us a little bit about yourself now.
I am a man with calculating eyes, a sharp face, stocky in stature, and sensible traveling clothes. So it's one of those things where that, you know, I don't dress to the highest end, but you can tell that I obviously know what I'm doing when it comes to, you know, selling my wares. You know, you know, this is, you know, before I met Pamela, like this was the thing that I loved. So I had all of my energy on this. So no one was ever going to get to that point where, you know, they were going to outfox me. At least I thought in my mind.
Nice. All right. Let's move on to Richard. You are playing the Kinsman and also a scholar.
Yes. I'm playing. Did we go over your character's name, Kurt? Did I miss that?
Oh yeah, we did miss that.
Yeah, could we get like name and pronouns for everyone too?
Yeah. All right. I think you're muted, dude.
It helps when you don't do that. Okay, so it's he and him pronouns, and my name is Tobias Henry.
All right.
Okay. Tobias Henry.
All right. I'm gonna go ahead and stick with the same last name. So I think I'm gonna ditch the accent just for this because he's Isaac Henry. Uses he/him pronouns. So he's a man with sort of soft eyes and an innocent face, and sort of just he's a big dude, but he's kind of pudgy a little bit. Wears this like all-weather coat all the time. You know, just is like a little dumpy almost, but looks you know, if you were going to do a George and Lenny, he would very much be that sort of Lenny character. But he doesn't look like he's got the education that he does. And he tends to be distracted a lot. But not in the sort of like, you know, absent-minded professor way, just sort of like, it's like he just is easily distracted. So he is Tobias Henry's brother, and I would say probably older brother.
Older brother. Nice. Trying to always keep Tobias out of trouble.
And I think he left the area as soon as he could to go get his education, and then came back and has come back because of the things going on recently.
Let's dive into the things that are going on with you. So your father, Isaac, is a landowner, and your family is pretty well off. Until 2 years ago, this land was being sublet to tenant farmers in return for a share of their yield of kelp, which is what they were farming. They dry the kelp into soda ash, and then your father would sell that to factories to make soap, glass, other products. 2 years ago, the price of kelp just crashed. It went from 22 pounds to 2 pounds, like massive. So to avoid the like sort of financial impact of this, your father made the hard decision to evict all the tenant farmers on the lands. The crops were still in the ground, they were still unharvested, and he evicted them, changed the land into sheep pastures, which would be more profitable. So you were in charge as the older brother of evicting the farmers on the southern farms. So here are the questions for you. How did you feel about your father's choice to evict the farmers?
I think he was in agreement with him that it was the right thing to do, even though it was painful. You know, I think he had never made like friends with, you know, the other people there, the tenants, and he'd always sort of felt aloof from everyone anyways, and so he didn't feel like he owed them anything. So that I think was his sort of mindset with that.
Yeah.
He's like, well, it sucks to be you.
Your father was very comfortable having you head up this What was your approach to the evictions you handled?
So he, I think, he went to these people and tried very much to negotiate at first. And if they didn't listen to reason, he would leave very peacefully, and then come back with, in the evening with a bunch of people and torches and whatnot, and say, I'm going to burn the place down. You can get your things and leave, or we can burn you in the houses.
Wow. I mean, the next question is, there were tenants who resisted and yelled and cursed at you, turned to violence. How did you handle those tenants?
I mean, he brought the old, hunting rifle, or I guess musket, whatever, with him. And I think there were people who he had to kill to, in this process. And I think after the first family that resisted, people knew that he wasn't going to take no for an answer. And I think, the children of that family, like, were sort of went with another family that lived nearby and all that. And like, he made arrangements for them, but that didn't stop him from doing what he set out to do. I think he's the kind of person who says, I'm going to do this, and gives someone a chance. And if they don't pay attention, then that's their own business.
Yeah. Amazing. One of the tenants you evicted was the family of the Adams family, Pamela's family.
Mm-hmm.
You've not told your younger brother about this specifically. You're not sure whether you should.
No. And again, I think he knows, he's aware that that Tobias is not going to react well, and so he hasn't brought it up. And if it comes out, he says, well, you never asked. So
that's a good plan. Awesome. So you're going to be with Tobias when the scenario starts, going with him to help keep everything safe and to get the job that needs to be done once more. All right, let's move on to Hayley. You're playing the Outcast.
Yes, I am the Outcast, and who is also a mercenary, and I'm actually the sister of Pamela. My name is Zara Adams. My pronouns are she, her. And so I'm a woman with arresting eyes. I've got a scar that runs down like the side of my jawline. It looks pretty recent. I'm not a particularly good-looking person. I've actually got a very wiry, skinny build, and my clothes fit very badly. They're way too loose for me. I've actually tied them up so they don't get in the way when I move around.
Yeah, right. I suppose it must be hard to get new clothes.
Yes. And I'm also the Outcast. Yes.
Yes. Okay, so your background. 2 years ago, you and your family were evicted from your farm. Your brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, and cousins told to leave with only what they could carry. Now your kin has nowhere to go but this god-forsaken island on which you live. The rent is almost nothing, but then such is the worth of the land. Nothing will grow here, and what dwells in the sea is devilishly hard to catch. What do you hate most about your family's current situation?
My family are like proud people, and I really hate seeing them having to do all kinds of things that I view as demeaning in order to get by.
So what kind of things are demeaning?
Like asking people for things. Living in really poor conditions, that like I think probably everything we've got belonged to somebody else at some time or another. So just taking shit that we found around the place, cobbling it together.
You have a memory of the kinsman, i.e. Isaac Henry, from the eviction. What is it?
Yeah, I think it's definitely that moment that Richard described where like the Addams family, obviously we didn't leave in the morning when Isaac came up and was like, hey, you're being evicted. Would you like to leave? And so the memory is definitely at night. Our house is on fire. It's like complete chaos. People are running everywhere. And I think like I hear a gunshot and I turn around and I think that Isaac has shot someone who was about to sort of like hit him with his fist. So it was sort of self-defense, but this man had a fist and Isaac had a gun and had just shot him. And that memory has like just stayed in my mind.
Who was it? That's
That's a good old question.
Yeah, I wonder if it should be like it could be very personal and be somebody who's part of my extended family, or it could be somebody, just our neighbors.
I wonder, like, just to make it extra awful, like, like what if it was someone who your family had taken in, like,
Cousin or something.
well, I'm just thinking like there's no real social support system, so or like retirement homes. So what if it was like a the crotchety old man from the family, 2 doors down or something, who came out with like a cane or something.
Awful. So he's not somebody who's even a real threat to you. He's like an older gentleman who's been living with us for a little while.
Yeah.
And he just couldn't deal with the idea of being evicted from where he'd lived basically his whole entire life.
And I think maybe there's a question of whether he would have actually been a threat. Like,
right.
It may have seemed in the moment to Isaac like he was, but no one else is going to assume that he would have been.
Yeah.
He has a cane.
God, I hate this guy already. I am the worst.
Like
let's
Richard,
give him a name just for reference. Let's call him Old Tom. Just easy.
Old Tom. Oh,
I remember
Old
Tom.
Richard, I'm playing the creature, but you're the real monster.
Creatures aren't monsters. Humans are monsters. All right, so to make matters worse, Hayley, your character, Zara, now is an outcast. Your family barely tolerates you. The evictions left you desperate, and you did something for which your kin have never forgiven you, and you're the black sheep now. So what did you do, and why was it so hurtful to your family?
I think what I did was sort of like after the evictions, I splintered off from my family. I didn't follow them when they left to go to the island. I sort of broke off and didn't help them at all. And there was like a long time where they didn't know where I was. And then I actually came back to where we were evicted from and slaughtered some of the sheep that belonged to the Henry family. And I think I got caught. A scuffle broke out. I got cut along here, and resultantly, to try and get away from this area where there's like quite a bit of heat on me, I didn't really have anywhere to go but to stay with my family.
Right.
And I kind of felt like after I'd expressed all that rage, I kind of felt a bit empty and hollow, and like it kind of occurred to me that I had actually done nothing helpful. Everything that I'd done was destructive.
Yeah. So you've come back to them, and they haven't taken too kindly to the extra mouth to feed. So next section of your backstory. Not all of your family made it to the island. We all know that Old Tom didn't make it. Your brother, already of ailing health, was also taken by fever from the cold on the island. And then your father, a little later on, your father who fought so hard to protect your family, down to the last swing of his fist, he went for a walk one day and never returned. So now the family members your kin depends on most to survive, your sister Pamela, one of the few younger people in the family, has told you they intend to leave and marry. And who else to leave with but one from that Henry family you so hate? Your family won't stand for such a thing, for that betrayal and devastation. So on this night of nights, as your family prepares for the Henry family's coming, your choice is a difficult one. Do you help your family, or do you turn your back on them? So we will move on to the last but not least, the creature.
Yeah.
It's all falling into place. Did you have? Yeah. So let's start with the sheet. So the creature in this forgotten place, this island of wild waters and stormy skies, you've made your home. The lonely, windswept crags and sparse vegetation makes it a harsh living for humans, but this does not bother you the slightest. You are a creature. So what kind of creature are you?
So I am a huge, immense dryad, made up of like the dead skeletons of seaweed as it like uproots in storms, and just this huge like hulking amorphous mass of sargasso that washes up against the rock, and just kind of absorbs all of the like emotions of the people living on the shore.
Wow, that is insane. That is awesome. That is a great creature. And so I mean, it makes total sense how you've ended up on this island, I think.
Yeah.
as your home. 2 years ago, strangers came to settle your rock, and they built a cottage and sowed their seeds. They were gaunt and resigned, like a rock laid bare against an unrelenting wind. You kept your distance but remained cautious. Why did you let them stay?
Because I'm hungry, and because their emotions spill over, and what they don't need, I lap up, as I lap up the waves and I lap up the sun.
And what was the emotion that you fed off the most from these people?
At first it was desperation, but I could feel that slowly turning into anger.
A year ago, you saw one of their own, an aging man, walk off the crags to embrace the ocean forever. His body was gone after a day, but his spirit clutches the rock face still and howls with the wind. The hoarse cries plead with you, sometimes a gentle whisper on the breeze, other times a shaking roar, but always to ask you to keep his family safe. So you promised him this. Why did you make this promise?
So out of all my answers, this one might be the most like messed up, because I made this promise. I've been thinking a lot, especially since choosing the creature, about the folk song, The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald, and specifically the line, the lake it is said never gives up her dead. And so I wear the old man's body when I like walk into town. And the deal that I made to gain that body was to watch over his family.
Yeah. So that's how that is creepy and amazing. I love it. So you inhabit his body and animate it.
So
in return.
So Adam's family wouldn't know that the father is actually dead then, right? It would be a case where they might think that you are the father just acting strangely? Or do they know that it's something weird and mystical going on?
Oh, that is a very good question. I almost like the idea that they know, but like that's a family secret. Like only they know.
Yeah. Right.
Nice. I like that.
Yeah.
So there's just this weird person that looks like my dad who reappears every now and again and
always
does
dripping for some
understand.
reason.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome.
And yet you're still the monster. Right?
Yes, I was going to say, and yet I'm the monster.
All right.
I just want to know what what do we
Oh,
the family on the island call you?
yeah. I think my name might only be known to like one or two of the family as Calamus, Calamus. Everyone else knows me as Old Superior.
Okay, cool.
That's amazing. And they kind of know that you are the sort of almost deity of this place, this island.
Mm-hmm.
I assume that's how they see you as. Awesome. All right. Let's so we've got the Henry family, Tobias and Isaac, and on the island we've got Zara, her sister Pamela, and Calamus watching over. Start the scenario off. We're gonna do the introduction of both Tobias and Isaac on the ship. It is the thick black of night. You've both sailed a 6-hour journey from your home to the island where Pamela lives, to bear her back across the sea and away with you. Your love knows that this is the night you will come. You've arranged to meet here on a small relief where the cliffs narrow to the shoreline and the rock touches the lapping water. You sit in your boat, both Tobias and Isaac, and the boat hangs low in the water. When the right time is right, you will row to the shore, pick up Pamela, and away. What are you two talking about?
Not our history with this family, for sure. I think that it's a full moon, and there are there's that like phosphorescence that is cropping up from like the bacteria that you disturb on the surface. And so the conditions happened to be the absolute worst as far as like sneaking in and sneaking away, but it's the arranged date. And so there wasn't a good way to communicate that. And so I think maybe Isaac is berating Tobias as quietly as he can about, I have an almanac. If only you'd learn to read.
What good are books when you have what's up here? It doesn't matter what's around us. You can see what's on the ship. You can see what's out in the ocean.
That's the problem.
No, it does not matter. The only solution is us, and we are going to save. Why do I even bother? I mean, really, just trying to explain it to you. It's like talking to a rock.
He sort of like gestures at the cliff face.
Yep.
Be my guest.
Oh, this one looks quite lively. It's got your natural shape, and yet I'm really more enthused with it than you.
So as you guys are closing in on the island, it turns out it was a fortunate thing that the moon is so bright and the phosphorescence glowing across the water, because you clearly make out 3 figures on that bluff that you're supposed to meet your lover. It's not just Pamela. From the silhouette, it's clearly not her. Instead, it's 3 of her kinsmen. One of them is Zara Adams, and 2 others are also there. You don't think you recognize them? And they call out to you, "Ho there! Why don't you two come ashore and we'll have a bit of a wee chat?"
Sort of just looks over at Tobias. This is not going to go well.
Your almanac could not have foreseen this.
We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you, brother. And so he goes and starts. I would imagine it's a small enough boat that they're actually going to row closer. And so he takes the oars and just begins like the process. And he's not actually looking at them because the way you row the boat is you're backwards. He's also not showing them his face in particular.
Yep.
And so as they approach, he's keeping his back to them on purpose as much as he can. And I think he eyes the my character sheet doesn't say I have a musket or whatever, but I would assume that we would have taken that with us. And so he's looking at that in the boat where he has loaded it and covered it with like an oiled seal skin or something so that it doesn't get the powder wet and all that. And I don't think that he has specifically mentioned it to Tobias, but he definitely prepared that and put that in there, and so he's giving that the eye as he's rowing them closer.
Awesome. Zara, how do you feel about this moment? Your family have taken you to this bluff and given you a musket also, which and
please, I have my own musket. It's the only thing of value that I own.
True, you bring your own musket, and they've told you to not allow these strangers to take your sister away. It's one of the few times that they have really asked something of you. Usually they've sort of left you alone, and it's only really Pamela who shows any sort of kindness or consideration for you.
Yeah, it's definitely running through my head that this is the opportunity that I have to get back into family's good graces. I'm not really worried about the two people approaching. We outnumber them quite significantly. I'm much more worried that I'm going to do something stupid.
Okay. All right, so your cousin, a tall man named Marcus, he's been drinking a little bit, and you can smell the alcohol in his breath. He's the one shouting out at them. So he's goading them closer, and he comes down towards the water to meet their boat. As you both come ashore, puts his foot on the side of your boat, essentially. And then, pulls an arm out towards you with like this grin on his face. He says, good of you to make it to this barren island.
It's a pleasure, he says without looking at him.
And so Marcus is extending his hand over to Tobias to sort of help him out of the boat.
Sounds good. Even though he's very smart with his business, sometimes other things not so much. So he allows him to take his hand and graciously lets him help him out of the boat.
Marcus grabs your hand and then like sort of just throws you on the ground. He whirls around and like throws you against the rock, essentially. Says, we know why you're here. Puts a boot down on your chest and says, and you aren't going to take her away. She's the only ray of sunshine on this rock for me, and she's intended for me. And he sort of spits on you.
He kind of begrudgingly kind of wipes it off and is kind of like, she's not your property. She may be related to you, but she gets the say so, not you.
I think I haven't aimed the musket, but I've got it in my hands, and I look down at Tobias and I say, and what are you going to do about it? You Henrys may have the say on your own lands, but you have no say here.
I am not trying to be a conqueror. I am just merely a fool in love, and
You've got
I'm
that
sorry.
right. As Isaac steps out of the boat and I think like shoves aside the oilskin and picks up the musket, doesn't point it at anyone, but just shows that he has it. And of course, he's a big dude who is now, standing there on the other side of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a flash of recognition in Zara's eyes. And she does aim her musket square at Isaac because she does not trust him at all. Mm-hmm. And says, "Put that down. I'm faster than you." And she's trying to intimidate you.
Intimidate? I was going to say, yeah, that sounds definitely like an intimidate another.
All right.
Whew.
So I have a quick question. Am I the third person or am I like watching from afar? I didn't quite catch that.
I will give you a choice of I wanted to do your introduction in a separate scene. You can either know that they're coming because you can either you're definitely not the third person.
Okay.
Yeah. But I'll leave it up to you whether you want to be aware of these people coming to your island because like you could feel it or
I definitely feel it.
Yeah, you definitely feel it. All right, we'll get to it.
They had to like row through a bunch of kelp.
Seaweed.
Absolutely, yes.
Just ominously.
And I feel like if this were like the movie version or whatever, there would be like some just kelp stuck on something that gets like that long 1 second shot or something earlier in it, so that if you rewatch it, you're like, oh,
yeah.
Yeah, awesome. All right, Hayley, did you make your roll?
I rolled an 8.
An 8.
So I believe it is for Richard to choose
one of 3 options. So Richard, you can choose either get out of Zara's way for now, gives Zara something they think you want. Wait, yeah.
Yeah.
Or tell Zara what she wants to know.
Okay. I think he's going to smile sweetly with that innocent face of his. And he's going to slowly put the musket down. And I forget, did she say anything about not trusting him, or was that just the impression that she... Okay.
That was totally internal. I don't think that she necessarily, exhibited any signs of that. She exhibited clear signs of aiming a musket at you.
And you said, I'm faster than you, right? Or something along those lines. I have no doubt of that. And just smiles. And I think he takes a step forward, sort of daring her to shoot him, because he doesn't believe that she will. Just to get into, I think, her space a little bit more.
Okay. So you're telling Zara what you think they want. She wants to know that you're basically. Are you making it seem like you're not going to continue escalate the aggression, essentially?
Right. I mean, because he's put the gun down, and he stepped closer to like ratchet the tension up a little bit, but not so much violence as just his physical presence of like, we're going to have a conversation about this.
I read that as giving me something that Isaac thinks I want, because he lowered the musket, which is what I want.
Yeah. So now you're the only one with a musket up. Marcus says, There's no space for words here. It's clear what we want. We want you to get back in your boat, now that you know where your place is, and head on out, back across those waters, back to your lands.
Well, you have your foot on me, so I'm not really going anywhere.
It growls
As he
smart
says
ass.
it, he's kind of choking because I forgot that it's on my chest or on my neck or whatever. So
It's on your chest. He's not putting a huge amount of weight on it. He sort of like growls at you and like takes his foot off and like just like nudges, gives you a little nudge, a last little kick. Not super painful, but like more like he despises you. And he turns around and he sort of takes a couple of steps back and like nods towards your boat.
now, did you ask Pamela what she wanted, or is it just we just all agree that this is happening?
Pamela isn't leaving with you. Her place is here with her family. You should, if you knew anything about her, you would know that she cares most about her family.
Well, I see your lips moving, but I don't see hers moving, so I don't believe it.
Do you want to manipulate Marcus? Like get him to give you a chance?
Let's do it.
Yeah?
I'm all for it.
Okay. So roll plus beauty.
Okay.
He is an NPC, so he says, all right, I don't mind letting you ask. If you promise me that you'll leave anyway, we can find out what Pamela wants.
Nice. All right. I have a 7.
7. All right. Okay. So Marcus says, yeah, let's talk to Pamela. Let's see what she wants. But you promise me you both will leave regardless of her answer. And you give me this musket. He points to the one that that Isaac dropped earlier or put away.
Okay.
Says, leave that with me, and I'll take you to Pamela.
Done. He says it before Isaac even has a chance to say anything.
I think like Isaac just sort of pauses for a moment. He goes to pick up the musket and then turns to Zara and says, well, there aren't any sheep to shoot, and hands Marcus the musket.
Ooh.
damn.
All right.
I'm gonna make a roll just to see how my character is gonna react.
Okay.
Yeah, I rolled not good. So Zara kicks you in the leg.
All right.
So
yeah.
how big is she? Like,
She's definitely shorter than you.
mhm.
And she's quite skinny. I think she's average height for a woman.
Mhm. Okay, so I think he just sort of sneers at her and just keeps walking.
Yeah.
Oh, he's the worst. I hate him.
All right. Let's move over to Taylor.
Yeah.
Taylor, did you have any specific ideas of how you wanted to enter this?
I'm not quite sure. I would like an ominous thunder crack and like to see the body of a very old man like scratching a broom across a threshold, possibly.
All right. So we'll say I think that's definitely how it starts. So it's like you're in the cottage where the Henry family lives. It's got a clear view of that bay sort of area, the land where they made landfall, in front of you, straight down the crags. So you can actually see the interaction from the porch where you're like scraping that broom across. And you've actually been asked here by Isla, who's the mother of Pamela, to sort of keep Pamela safe and inside the house, which is where she is now. She's sort of she's not like tied down or anything in the cottage, but she's been like told in no uncertain terms that she is not to leave this room, this cottage.
Yeah.
She sort of, I mean, yeah, so she sort of didn't think that it would end like when she told Marcus and Zara about the fact that she was leaving, she didn't think that they would take it so badly and do this. So she's sort of in the cottage, doesn't really know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
That's-
I think and I don't know if I said pronouns for Calamus, but they use they and them
yeah.
when they're outside of the old man, and then he and him when they are inside the old man.
Okay. Cool.
And so I think he turns to Pamela and just like in a very like almost a whisper, just asks like, "You are familiar with the one coming?" I don't know if that's loud enough to hear over the microphone, but you're familiar with the man coming.
Yeah. Yes, of course. He's like no other man I've had, met before, and I have strong feelings for him.
And his brother took you out of your home.
His brother did? He's not his brother, nor is he his father. He's his own man.
And you want to go with him?
Yes, I think so. Maybe. I mean, I do. But Marcus, mother, everyone else here. Just she sort of gives you these like pleading eyes.
Yeah. They really do not want you to go with him.
Yes, that they do not. They've said so, and much more violently than I would have thought. Are you going to keep me in here?
And I think he like gestures to his like very frail body. And I think like it's almost like a mummy, where the skin has just kind of like dried and like created this sinew around bones. I don't know if if that crosses a line for two like people, let me know. But just like really, really old and like near death, and just says, "Could I stop you?"
And Pamela walks slowly into his body and like sort of pats the brown gray hair that is so much like her own, and puts her hand over the chest where the heart would be and says, I think so.
Then stop. Do not go. This is selfish. I live on violence.
And then I think this like a expression crosses Pamela's face where she's like ripped out of that projecting her father onto this thing, and really the alien nature of this being sort of like, and she like takes her hand off, and she's like taking 2 steps back.
I have as part of my equipment, I have an old trinket, which I would like to think is some sort of like really, really ancient, like when the Greeks lived here, one of their sailors dropped it on the shore, and it has like a little like bit of seaweed inside of the locket.
Yeah.
And I think he like pulls it off of his neck and he gives it to her, and he just goes, "If you leave, leave. But if you want help," and then he just like sets it in her hand, or like holds it out to her.
Like, what is this?
And he just shrugs and he like very creakily goes and sits down.
Closes his
some
eyes.
sort of rocking chair and just goes to sleep for a little bit.
Oh.
Oh, all right. She goes to the porch where you've swept that like spotless, and she sort of sits and she looks and can see that the rest of the party are making their way up together.
Mhm.
And she's like really, really scared, but stays there for now. So she's just waiting there at the porch.
Nice.
And I imagine like Calamus's form sort of like sink into wherever he's sitting and sort of like fade into it in a way. Like so it's like part of the setting almost. All right, let's cross back to you guys heading up to the cottage.
So I think like Isaac is definitely not saying anything. And I think he's pointedly ignoring Zara as much as he can just to kind of rub it in. He is watching Tobias because he doesn't trust that Tobias is going to stay level-headed in this situation, and he thinks he's going to do something dumb. And really, the only reason he agreed to do this was so that he could protect him long enough for him to realize that it's a terrible idea. And I mean, I think his whole goal is to get him out of here with the least amount of trouble, and the most amount of, he wants him to fail in such a way that he will realize that it's a terrible idea and he shouldn't have come.
Awesome.
I think. Oh, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think that Tobias would actually turn to Marcus and kind of like not stare at him, like almost like look at him, almost kind of without staring in the face, but also getting his attention. Like, so I see that you're very, what's the word I'm looking for? You're very protective of Pamela. But what about Zara? I don't see the same love. Why not both?
He looks at you like you're crazy. They're different. Sorry. He shoots like a dirty glance at Zara. It says, well, it's like the moon and the sun, like night and day.
Can I read a person?
Yeah.
Oh,
I want to know what Marcus is thinking, because I'm only like, okay, I hate the Henrys, but I'm only doing this shit so that I can get back in with the family, and I'm kind of worried it's not going to happen. So I'm going to try and, which is great because I'm not the brightest bulb. Oh boy, I got a 3.
You got a 3. You so you're just watching this interaction. You overhear you hear Marcus say it's like night and day, and you can tell from his tone that he blames you for so much, and he wants to act out in the same way that you did, but he's not quite there yet. Like he's pretty agitated this evening. But then you see him like as he catches your eyes, it's almost like he reads you, and he reads all of that toxic way that you've expressed your anger. And he's sort of like, but sometimes you need the night to get the work done that you need to. Is the feeling that he gets. And you see that he clutches his the butt of his like a kelping knife that he's got next to him tighter, and he's super ready to bring a fight to Tobias.
Great. So we're all very unstable. Excellent.
Yes.
I feel like God. I feel like Isaac is going to sort of turn to you and just sort of comment out of the corner of his mouth that must be nice to be useful to your family.
That's Zara?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then he gives Tobias a look like, that was meant for you too.
Ooh.
Zara says, I'll thank you not talk to me. Nothing to say to you.
More is the pity.
I agree. I kind of hear the situation too, and I look at Isaac, and I kind of like shake my head a little bit, and then I look at Zara almost like, do you want to be my sister? Kind of a thing where it's like very coy, but very like not, you know.
Like can you believe this asshole? Right? Like
exactly. It's like, do I want bad or do I want worse? Which one do I want here?
Yeah.
Oh no.
I think Zara's face is very unreadable. She's got the scowl that like covers up any actual emotion she may be feeling.
You make it to the cottage, and as you're approaching, you can see Pamela is out at the porch, and she looks a little confused but hopeful, because that's her personality. She looks hopeful at you, unstable group of 5 people coming back up the track. And she's like, she exhales, and you can hear she whispers Tobias, essentially, in a happy sort of way. And then she sees Marcus's face, and she's like, what?
So how close are we now? Are we fairly close?
Yep. You've made it fairly close. As close as you want to be, if you want to run to embrace her or anything like of the sort.
Yeah. I'm going to not do that because I'm trying to act like I've got more panache than I actually do.
Oh
So
God,
he's
he's playing it cool.
I'm trying. I'm so
Hey,
trying to. Yeah. Well, what he's thinking in his head is like everyone else is just ready to just go. So like, I feel like if I start to do that, then it will just all happen. So I'm not going to do that.
Right.
So basically, I am like, I start to walk, and I say like something like families. And then he's about to say something else, and then decides not to, and just closes his mouth and walks and like slowly gives her the hug he's been waiting for what seems all of his life.
Oh dear.
Aww. They embrace.
It's not all going to be awful. I'm not going to make it all be awful.
They embrace really softly, and like lovers who haven't seen each other for a while. And Marcus says, Pamela, it's time to say your goodbyes. I'm going to send these. We're sending them off. And his eyes soften as you say that, and she sort of stiffens up in the hug.
I want to read her thoughts if I can.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
It's a very charged interaction.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that is an 8 for me.
8. So you can if you can ask one of these questions. Either you can ask it outright or you can, sort of read it off her body language. Your choice of those questions.
Yeah, I think I'm going to read it right off of here because I think it's pretty honest. And I'm going to go to her ear so no one else can hear. And I'm going to say, what do you wish for me to do? So I if no one heard that, I ask her what she wishes that I do.
And she hugs you real tight and says, I don't want to upset my family, but I'm afraid I would have to be with you. And you can feel that she's in sort of two minds about it, but if you can tell by her embrace that what she really, really wants is to be with you. And she wants to be selfish for once, but it's really hard for her to be selfish. And she obviously doesn't want her family to be hurt either. And she just doesn't know how exactly to get out of that situation. And then she steps away. She breaks the hug. If I have to say goodbye to you now, that would be very difficult. And so she sort of like takes a step back. And I think that's where Marcus is like, steps in front of her and roughly pushes you back and says, all right, it's difficult, but it's time for you to go now.
You said that we could leave. You didn't say anyone else could not.
Oh god.
I think like at this point, like the tapping of like a very old man walks out of the house and like steps over the threshold in a very long step, and just says, "All right, when are we leaving?"
Marcus looks so surprised that the old superior is even here and is leaving with these people. He's sort of like is dumbfounded for a moment.
Yeah, close your mouth. You're gonna let in a draft.
Where did you dig up this old fossil?
Oh, no one had to dig me up. I just washed ashore one day.
I think this is Zara's turn to have a go at Isaac by saying, shame we have your musket. You can't shoot this one.
And he just like, I think he looks at her, and there's that moment where he looks like he's going to say something, but then he just sort of composes himself and nods. Like, fair point.
Oh.
Old Superior gives a disapproving tut and says, "Muskets. You rely too much on those."
I think as he says that, Isaac's eyes go to the boning knife that Marcus has at his hip.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of that glance. Time to go, brother.
Yeah. Go. And then Marcus holds onto Pamela's wrist and like pulls her next to him and says, Take the old man. You three leave now. And he's angry now. This is all spiraling way out of control for him. And he grabs him.
I'm gonna make things worse. I'm gonna try to manipulate him.
Yeah.
Yep.
What do you say? Like, how are you trying to manipulate him?
I'm gonna say that, you know, there's been a lot of what's happened between our families, whether known, not known. I'm sure there's more going on here than I even know, but it probably won't vanish, but it won't, this union, even though you think it's doomed, I think that it's better for everyone, not just Pamela and I. I mean, don't you see it in the faces of your sisters and your brothers and your cousins and your family? I mean, I see it in mine, and I look over and give
and
Isaac
he's
a little
he's just not having any of it. Like, it is completely the opposite of that.
How would it be better? What, you know, he's trying to see what you're going to promise him. You're promising him that it would be better. What is it?
Okay. I know that my family has taken plenty from you. I make it my solemn vow, myself, that the wares that I have make quite a good coin, and the things that I have found, whatever I make will go to you. I need not. We have what we need.
Ooh, all right. Roll plus beauty for this manipulate roll.
And
Can I roll fear?
I was just gonna say,
Sorry.
hinder. How does hinder work again?
It's like we both want to hinder.
Yeah.
Both want to hinder.
So in that
Hinder,
case,
all right.
we both can roll to hinder, but the one of us who
It's the
rolls
higher.
the higher will count.
Yeah,
but we
exactly.
both have the potential to have things get worse for us.
Okay.
Excellent.
All right.
Perfect. Let's have the manipulate roll first, and then we'll do both the
All
hinders.
right. Sounds
I would
good.
like to help.
Amazing. Excellent. I love this.
well,
Everyone has a stake.
Yeah, it all comes down to this. I'll probably roll a 1 now. Oh, that's an 8.
An 8.
All right.
Okay. An 8.
So our
So-
rolls really matter. Ha ha ha.
Yeah.
All right. So I rolled a 9. So Isaac is going to step up as soon as he mentions, like, actually, you know, like, giving the money to them.
Yeah.
He says, "Brother, what are you doing?"
We've
We've taken enough, and so I think he, like, goes in and, like, whispers to him that we still haven't recovered. You can offer her nothing, and we've taken enough from them.
Awesome. So that's possibly a -1. Hayley, do you do your roll?
Yeah, I did, but I also came up with a -1, so I won't have any effect on
Okay.
the situation. But
Yeah.
narratively,
That's
I think I just I'm just looking at Marcus like, you don't trust these people, do you?
Well, Marcus is seeing. Marcus sees that this Isaac fellow does not seem trustworthy, and that's going to be an issue going forward with this deal if it is struck. Taylor, your help roll?
I got an 11.
Oh, that's good.
Wow.
And so as the two naysayers, on both sides of the argument, try and tip things against Tobias, I think Old Superior just kind of creaks down and taps his cane against Marcus's shin and just says, "You'd think you were switched at birth. It seems like this newcomers and Adams and you might be more at home with the Henrys. Where's your sense of decency, my lad? They're on our soil."
Whoa. So that's a +2 -1. What was the roll? The original roll was
It
an
was
8.
an 8.
8.
Yes.
Yep.
That's
So
still a 9.
it's a 9. Yeah.
Ooh. All right, still within that range.
Yeah. So Marcus is his grip loosens, and it says, "All right, okay, all right, we'll give you." And he's sort of misogynistically like, "We'll give you Pamela," and lets go of her hand and says, "You drop everything you have now. Empty your boat. Give us everything you have. We'll put it to good use."
I do that. And then I
is that
look
a-
at my brother to see what he does.
I think he crosses his arms as you're doing that, and oh god, I think he looks between. I think he looks between Marcus and Zara, and just says, "Try it." And I think he's trying to intimidate them into letting him walk away.
Without doing so. All right.
Yeah.
Roll plus your brawn.
That's a 13.
Wow.
Holy smokes.
Holy smoke.
What's the threat? I'm curious what the threat is because I have to play to
That's
that.
true.
Is it?
I think that he's basically like daring one of them to come and try to take his things from him, or he's going to just beat the snot out of them.
Zara, did you want to do something of it?
Because I on a 10 plus I choose I either cave in and do what Isaac wants or I endure the consequences of the threat, which is what I'm going to do.
Okay.
Oh.
So I'm not going to shoot you. I'm going to throw my musket, like sling it back on my back and have at you with my fist because that is the honorable thing to do.
Ooh.
Okay.
So I am going to attempt to act with force.
Okay. Awesome.
Unless anyone, like other people can help or hinder, obviously.
Go for it.
I got an 11.
Oh yeah.
Ooh. Okay. You choose. Yep.
Would you like to hinder Isaac?
I would well actually no, I think he's going to take it because I think he doesn't think that she has it in her, and I feel like she should just lay him out, just boom.
All right.
And
Hayley,
then he wakes up, like 10 seconds later and is like, oh. Because he needs to be put in his place, right? Like,
yeah.
I don't think you're going to wake up 10 seconds later.
Yeah? What are you going to pick for your resolution of that roll, Hayley?
I am going to impress, dismay, or frighten my enemy.
Okay.
I am going to... Specifically Isaac.
Yeah.
So how do you see it going down?
If I can get there.
Yeah, I think so. You can definitely. There.
I would like to inflict terrible harm because I am not in control, I guess. Because effectively Isaac's intimidation goaded me into this action.
I love it.
Yep.
And I am going to take definite hold of the situation.
Awesome.
And I'm also going to trigger my mercenary move.
Oh, good.
So, I'm going to roll for that, and then we can. I'll narrate how I see the entire thing going.
I actually had an idea, like rolling around in my head for if he dies at any point during the adventure. I had an idea, Taylor. So
okay,
we can talk about that if it gets to that point.
Yeah.
It may well do. It may well do.
Okay, here we go. Whoop, oops, lost a dice. Never mind. Just pull another one from this box and try again. All right. I got a 9 on my mercenary move, which lets me choose one of these options. Your enemies retreat to a safe distance. Onlookers or enemies will tell stories of your prowess. Your enemies will want you for their own, or your enemies become afraid of you.
Yeah.
I think I'd like you to become afraid of me, because that's the thing that's really been bugging me. That you're treating me like I'm nothing, like I'm not a threat, like I'm not a person who's there. So the way I see the whole thing going down, is I think it's over really quickly. Slinging my musket over my back is like, in my mind, enough warning for you to prepare yourself. I grab you. I'm surprisingly quick. I sort of like slam you around the side of the head with my fist and then push you back down. And I think your head sort of like smashes a little bit against the side of the rock.
Awesome.
And then I stand up. Yeah. I stand up and I look at Marcus and I say, are you really going to let Pamela leave? Is that what the family wants?
Okay.
Challenging his authority.
Awesome.
Oh. All right. So I think you would take. So you chose to inflict terrible harm.
So I think it'd be 2 harm.
Yeah, you would definitely take at least 2 harm. And you also didn't take suffer little harm. So I think that Isaac actually gets one good hit in across your jaw before the whole thing is over. And so you also take 1 harm, Zara.
I'm trying to imagine, like, with what's going on. I think maybe, like, because you were saying it's very quick, right? Like,
another option is the harm could have come from me being reckless with my own body. Like when I threw you onto the rock, I could have actually propelled myself as well and hit myself. It's up to you. I think it's up to Isaac.
I think maybe like he manages to grab her as he falls, and he slams against the rock, but she also hits the ground really hard.
That makes sense.
All right. So I'll give Isaac a chance. Did you want to say it's really quick?
So I think that's what happens, and then he sort of like spits out a bunch of blood and a couple of teeth. And just, I think he laughs in sort of just like a really mocking sort of way, but you can tell that it's a front. And sort of just like sits up on the ground and just shakes his head. And I think he runs like, his tongue across his lips. So it's not just sheep. And then he spits out more blood.
Yeah, Zara doesn't reply to you. She's entirely focused on Marcus. What he's going to do.
Are you intimidating Marcus?
No, I don't think that I am. I think I'm trying to persuade Marcus, which is bizarre in the circumstances. But
but you actually
I'm trying to persuade him that I'm trying to say, look, you need to act in the interest of the family. I can see that your decision making is being influenced in the moment, but that's not what we agreed beforehand. But I'm not going to act against you because I'm not allowed to.
Yeah. Okay. So
and I'm promising that if my promise, I think, which is not said out loud, is essentially like, I'm going to do what you say.
Yeah. Okay. And he's just been impressed by your display of incredible fighting prowess, and he feels like he can probably take these 2 on with your help. So I guess that bears a lot of weight. I love that Marcus in this scenario, by the way, is just so as indecisive as Batman. They're both just as bad as each other.
All right, I'm going to roll for it.
Yeah, roll the manipulate.
Oh, that's a 6.
Marcus is like shocked and horrified at your display, like, of he's a bit drunk, but I think he got drunk because he's not naturally a violent person, and he's like really just feel like amazed that you've managed to crack this guy's head across the rocks like that, and he's pretty significantly injured. It's like not an injury that is going to fade by itself. You're going to have to get that treated if you want it to get better. And Marcus is just like, Pamela, go, leave. Nothing is worth more death, more grief, more mourning for our family. We will miss you, and I will miss you. I've always loved you, but it's not even worth this. And he sort of like turns and walks into the cottage. Dara, do what you want, but I will have no more of this. And then slams the door. And yeah, so whew.
I'm gonna check in and see what the spirit of this old man is thinking about this whole situation.
Yeah.
And I think that what the people on the outside of the body see is Old Superior just like collapse as if the old man has fainted. So like Calamus has just like left the body, and they like swirl out through the connected root structure of all the plants that live on the ground and just down over the cliff into the sea. And I want to think of like the image of this old, like ghostly old man, and then the ineffable size of an ocean of kelp, just kind of like somehow sharing the same like frame.
Yeah. And it's almost like I could see like all of the kelp is like everywhere in this water, and then there's like a man-shaped hole where it's just his spirit inhabiting that space.
I love that.
It's like the negative of the kelp sea.
Yeah.
Roll plus beyond.
I would love to.
I assume that's what you're doing.
Oh boy. So I rolled a 4. My beyond is 2, but that's still only a 6.
6. Ooh. Okay.
And I was gonna say, can NPCs help? I don't know, with the locket thing. I don't know.
If there's one thing that I love in PBTA games, it's rolling a 6-. So like, in all honesty, like heck me up.
I think what happens is so there's a sea and there's the negative of where the man is, the emptiness of that kelp. And then from that emptiness, this black bubbling like tar expands into the space.
Yeah.
It's like an anger so black and so devoid of joy, with like sort of the grief and sadness of a father losing his daughter as well. And then that blackness sort of like flips around. It starts going into the kelp, and it's taking control of you.
Oh, good.
So it's sort of like takes over your it's actually, it says, you promised me and you will abide by the promise you made. You will banish these outsiders and you will keep my daughter safe on this island. And he sort of like, I think his body desiccates essentially into nothingness, because until you fulfill your promise to him, he's not letting you use his vessel essentially. And so you've just got his like anger in your kelpie body, however that manifests.
Oh, good.
I will leave it to you to describe.
Yeah, so I think that means that like the three of you up on shore see this old man just keel over and then dissolve.
Okay. I have an idea.
Mm-hmm.
I have one too.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think that this would just like roll straight into
Your move.
my creature move,
Mm.
which I think the obvious choice would be this is who I am. But I would love to go for others like me first.
Okay.
And just try and like reach out to like just desperately grab at pieces of driftwood to like cobble them together to create an almost humanoid form.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Like using that as like a skeleton and then hanging your like
Yeah.
body on it. Ooh, I
Just
love
like
it.
tying bits of white wood, gray with sun and age. And that is an 11.
Okay. You succeed, and so others like you, in which case this is sort of like the, I guess, different kelps and different things come to help around you. You can pick one of those things and also they also give you something.
Yeah.
Like,
so I think the choice that I can't argue against is they appear in monstrous guise. So like this thing that walks out of the shore towards you three is clearly a monster. And I don't know what they leave me with. Something puzzling and otherworldly.
Yeah, okay. We can have a bit of a think of that. So is this a separate creature from you that's coming out of the ocean, essentially, that you called?
I think so. I think it's like carrying me because I don't have a body to carry myself with.
Yeah.
And so this horrible like spirit of the ocean is having to like pick up bits of me and bring me to shore.
Okay, excellent. So where the boat is bobbing in that like little skiff is bobbing in the water, it's suddenly like a big wave sort of pushes it over, and it's like this creature comes out from the ocean. Awesome. I am happy about this development.
So we saw the body dissolve. Did we see the traveling spirit or whatever kind of going from the remains of the body past us down to the shore? Like, or was that something we wouldn't have seen? Like,
you could roll Sense the Beyond, sort of like it's not like something you could, it's not physically seeing, but you can definitely roll a roll plus Beyond, and we'll see what.
Okay, good, because I'm really bad at this and I want to fail.
Yeah.
All right, that's an 8. So he's just angry and looking around, and I think his eyes settle on the body right as it just dissipates into nothing. And he's an educated man. Like he left. Part of the reason he left was because, like, it's so freaking provincial out here. And he doesn't believe in all these superstitions and everything. I think his father is one of the few people who doesn't believe in them, and the sees it as something very lower class, and that these other people, these poor people, believe because it keeps them sane. But when he sees that, he freaks out.
Yep.
And what do we get? Fragments and mysteries. So
you would feel, you could, if you want, you can like sort of receive like a flash of like, that this you basically, you can't read what the emotion of the spirit is, but clear as day that it is the spirit of this father. Like you remember his face, that when you evicted him, that's what comes into your head.
So I think he just starts screaming, demons, sorcery, and he tries to get up and grab Tobias, and leave the demon spawn. Let's get the hell out of here. And he just starts to try and run with him. Yeah.
Awesome. So Taylor, do you want to do anything to stop them in this
Actually,
moment?
I would like to act
Yep.
with force to take
Yep.
the
Oh, okay.
situation over. Yep.
Okay.
Because
Awesome.
I want to get myself between him and the creature because I know that the creature was trying to help us. So regardless of the form, I still believe that this being is good.
Okay.
At least I think it is.
Yep.
All right.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I just have a quick question about the geographic situation right now, like where
Yep.
everything is. Where is the driftwood body thing? Is that still in the distance, or is that rocked up to where we are now?
I think it's near. I think it's established in the fiction that it was coming up from the water, so it is not where you are yet. But you can see it it's making its way up to the cottage. Yeah.
So Isaac has started running down towards the boat. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
I
he saw the body disappear, and that's what freaked him out. And he knows there's something going on, and that he felt that spirit. I don't think he even realizes that there's a monster down at the shore yet, and so he's going to try and run down there. And I don't think he's going to get there yet, but we'll see what happens.
Cool. Thanks for clarifying.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That is true. So the creature is down coming out of the water. I don't know if everyone's noticed. Like you said, not everyone's noticed it yet necessarily. Yeah. So, so what does Tobias want to do?
I am going to do the stupid thing and try to tackle my brother.
Okay, before he runs away. Excellent.
Yes. Knowing that I've done it before and have not succeeded.
Whether you succeed or not is great for the fiction, so I'm pretty...
Yeah, I really, really hope this goes horribly bad. Yeah.
Oh, you guessed it right. I got a 1.
Oh, jeez.
Yes. Rolling awesome until now.
And we're relatively near, it's like there's the path down to the water, but there's also the cliff face right there, right?
Yeah. I mean, does anyone have any wonderfully evil ideas?
I am 100% on board with him going over the edge and falling right in front of the creature that's carrying the thing that is carrying the creature's spirit at the moment. So there's a nice fresh body with a whole bunch of nasty emotions rolling around in it.
Yeah, I love that. Does anyone? Yeah. So
I don't know. What do you think, Taylor? Do you want to go that route, or?
Yeah,
I love it.
Okay.
Yeah, because I love this like shot of Tobias, just like the most active jump thing that he's tackle. What he thinks is a brilliant tackle just totally unbalances him. He goes straight over.
Well, my balance is a -1, so that just all works out right.
Well, no, I was thinking that Isaac goes over because he's woozy from the injury.
I think you both go over.
Oh God. Okay.
And he tackles you unstably, and you guys slip and like scramble down like a rock face, and then thud into like the sand right by the water, or into the water, in this like heap with a loud splash, where I guess Calamus's true form is. Zara, you're still up the top.
Yeah, Zara
so you
is
get
feeling
to be safe.
down next to the like dissolving body, like
Yeah, because this was your dad, like
Yeah,
your
exactly.
legitimate father.
Yeah, yeah.
like with like she's definitely panicking, like she's on her knees and is like trying to like clutch at the bits of the body that are sort of like withering away, because this is sort of her father's body and it's still really important to her. And Old Superior was kind of her father in a weird way
Yeah.
for a bit.
And you feel like
I'd like to sense the beyond, if that's okay.
okay, cool.
I got a 3. And my beyond is +2 as well. So with that it's a 4. So yeah, snake eyes.
Ooh.
Okay. How much worse could I make this story? So you feel this like sadness as well. And and you feel Pamela put her arm around you, and she is grieving alongside you, and she puts her head to you, and she's like, "Sister, we need to say goodbye. I wasn't ready," and she's just like blubbering, and you can truly feel how much she loves you as kin in this moment, but it's empty to you. You do not you feel the acceptance of her as family, and that's no longer enough for your character. Sorry. Snake eyes.
Great.
So
when I see this body dissolving away, I sort of, my internal thoughts is like, it's sort of a parallel of like, there is my last chance of acceptance and happiness with my family dissolving into the dirt forever, and it's just all cold now.
And then you're sensing the beyond, and you feel like a black tarry pit in your stomach bubble over. So do with that as you will.
Oh, no. Okay. Let's cross to some other people.
Because I mean, Pamela will also try to go. I think she also still wants to leave, so she'll head down to the beach in some time. All right, let's cross to you happy people down at the beach.
I mean, Isaac is probably pretty much out of it at the moment, I would think. Because he's already taken 2 harm, and I would imagine that was...
The fall would have given you the last, 3 harm.
Oh, yeah.
Which is now, now you're, basically, without any emergency medical assistance now, you will be dying slowly. You're on your way out now, essentially. So I guess when you hit the ground in the water, you're not getting up of your own accord. You're sort of bubbling and burbling in the water. Tobias, you've also, I don't think you've taken any harm so far, is that correct?
Yep, nothing.
You get just you come out of it pretty lucky. You get a few scrapes and bumps, maybe just 1 harm. But you're otherwise hale and able to get back up. You see your brother there, not moving in the water. And then you see behind him a monstrous creature, such as you've never seen before.
So instead of being scared, I'm so caught up in my anger with my brother that I don't even process this situation fully. And I'm even though I should be helping my brother, I'm just screaming at him. I try to get up out of the water, but I'm so thrown off that I kind of fall back down, and I'm kind of you were here to help. You were here to help.
I was here to help you fail, idiot. We never should have come. She's not worth it. Not worth this. It should have been you.
I'm gonna act with force.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How so?
I'm going to try. I'm going to attempt to pick him up and slap him just to like I still don't grab the situation that like my brother is dying. I'm just so mad about everything that's going on that I just want to take it out on somebody, and I can't take it out on anyone else because it will throw the situation worse.
I mean, that totally happens. I mean, he can't stop you, and I think he's egging you on.
Yeah. Right. So, like, I mean, active force is like if you actually want to hurt him. Like, if you just want to sort of vent your... I mean, it might, like, I think it might be acting under pressure if you're enduring that emotional force against you and trying to, like...
I'm cool with that.
Rather than, like, I think, unless you actually want to, like, kill him, I think it would be an act under pressure role.
I want to harm him, but I don't want to, like, kill him. He's still my brother. I mean, come on.
Right, yeah, exactly. So it's more about you processing your feelings, I guess. The lover also has the test of your love is true move at some point, which I would want to see rolled. I don't know if this is the right time for it though. Like, it's up to you whether your character is when you feel that that's appropriate. Just let me know when you want to do that.
Yeah. Well, to tell you the truth, that's a great thing. Like right now, I just, when I thought of this, I thought, well, when would I use this on Pamela? Well, maybe this is for my brother. Maybe, I'm like, does he really truly care about me, or am I just another person to him? Nothing special.
So it would be, I mean, I think it would, this move is for your bond, so it would be for Pamela, but in the sense of like your brother's just questioned that relationship, and he's specifically said like she's not worth it. So if you want to be like to roll it to see whether you think she is worth it or not, essentially. Either that or the act under pressure roll. I think both of those would work in this situation. Up to you.
Because what are you trying to figure out, I guess?
Yeah.
I'm not really trying to figure anything out, unfortunately. I think I'm just... Oh, maybe I am. Maybe I'm just trying to get you to get your character to have some sense of, like, be my goddamn brother. Don't just be some, person that's here to help. Be my kin.
I like that. Yeah. Gosh, what would that even...
Manipulate another, maybe.
Yeah. I like that because I think you definitely want something. You want him to tell you that like he cares about you, or he thinks that you are a valuable human being instead of just a fuck up.
Yeah. And also, I think I've been playing wrong. Have we supposed to be using 2 dice instead of 1? Because I've been rolling with 1 dice the whole time. And doing successfully for that one time.
That's crazy.
That's amazing.
Definitely 2 dice.
Yes.
Okay, well, I'll definitely roll 2 dice then. Maybe it'll actually be better than I would hope.
Double ones. Calling it right now.
Exactly. That will probably happen. If you've ever seen me roll dice in my whole life.
Oh my god, I cannot believe that. That's hilarious.
All right, so
that's
let's
wonderful.
Oh, of course. I should have just stuck with 1. So let's see. That is a 5 total, actually.
Oh.
5 total. Do you want to roll a help or hinder move as the brother? How open is your heart to change?
I think he's bitter and angry because I think he knows that he's probably not getting out of this situation, and he blames his brother entirely for it. And I think he, while he has done hard things and has looked at it in that very sort of logical sort of way, I think a part of him has never wanted to be that person, but has always felt like he had to be. And I think, if he gets out of this, it's just going to drive him I think it's just going to drive them further apart. I don't think he's really... Yeah, I don't think he's done with him. Yeah, he
Right.
is done with his brother, I think, at this point.
Yep. Okay. Whew. All right. Geo makes things worse. I think it's, if you want to say your last farewells as you wane out in the water, it
I
is
think-
time.
I think he spits in his face
Ooh.
Yeah.
and dies.
No.
And that's it. And
Callous.
he's terrible.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
At least he died.
Yeah.
Oh no. Calamus, you
So-
feel this life slip away in front of you.
Mm-hmm. But I also feel all of that raw emotion as it pours out. And it's like, it's really giving me the energy that I need. Hey, Isaac. How are you today?
Yeah. And do you want to do the spirit thing and
I would
have
love
that conversation?
to.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so I think he just sort of like is sort of looking around and like just stunned that he sees this creature or this presence. What are you?
I am the ocean.
Then it's all true. All of
Some
it.
of it. Some of it. Some of it you humans made up. And what I liked, I kept.
What am I doing here?
You're here. You're here to make the Addams family safe. Because I made a deal with an old man a long time ago.
I don't understand. What does this have? Is this my punishment?
It could be your punishment or it could be your reward. It's up to you to decide. But I'm going to give you an opportunity, if I can. There's a house on a hill, and in that house on a hill, there's a very angry young man. And that angry young man, well, until recently, that angry young man was one of two people that endangered the Addams family. But as of recently, he is now only one person who endangers the Addams family.
My brother?
No. Think a little closer to home, and like a piece of seaweed comes out and taps you on your spiritual chest.
What do I do?
And here's where I would like to decide what the spirits give me, something puzzling and unworldly. It's unworldly to me because
Yeah.
Calamus doesn't know how guns work.
Yeah.
But I think the weeds put your musket into your hands. And as Zara and Pamela are like mourning over this body, and like I think Zara is getting up to like do some really cool stuff, and I would like to see what she's doing in a second here. And as Tobias is like mourning over like killing his brother, the body just kind of like washes into the flotsam, and then washes up, and the eyes open, carrying a musket. But yeah, the deal is that Calamus would love for you to just go and murder the heck out of Marcus, because I think that he thinks keeping the Addams family safe is getting rid of the two sources of violence, and knowing that the old man isn't going to be happy with Pamela leaving, knowing that is, you know, not his decision, A, but also B, like an opportunity to create harmony.
So, okay, so the old man wants his family safe and her not to go, but Calamus is angling to destroy Marcus because that's his version of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what happens when you toy with the creatures of
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think like, I mean, I would say like at this point he's riding in sort of like he's along, his spirit is along for the ride with Calamus, who is using his body. So like I think that part is all you, and then he can just be like horrified or approving as need be.
Okay, awesome.
We haven't
let's
seen
go
from Zara in a while.
Zara,
I'd love to
yeah. I was
see.
gonna say it's time to.
I think like this is a supposition, but correct me if I'm wrong. I think that my consciousness is kind of partly connected with Calamus, because of the fact that we're both like infested with the same spiritual like black tar that you represented. So I think that I simultaneously get like in my head like gotta protect family, and then I kind of understand what just happened, I guess, in a way. I don't know if we're okay with that being the case.
I think that's follows the fiction very well.
So my viewpoint on the situation is the complete opposite of Calamus. Like, I physically want to protect my family, and so I'm basically, my eyes are sort of like a flat dead color, and my face has gone pale, all the color is drained from me, and I pick up my musket from the ground, and I'm just like, Pamela, get everyone inside the house. Something's coming.
Yeah. Oh. So inside the cottage, Pamela's rounded, you know, Marcus is in there, your mother's in there, your cousin's in there. And they're all huddling up, hearing out. And then you're standing out the front with your musket.
Yeah. And like, I definitely, what is not necessarily a rational decision to do this on my own. I don't think I was rationally thinking, oh, I'm best at fighting, therefore I will keep everyone safe. I think I was very much like, this is my fight.
Yep. All right, you've got to move for that as the outcast.
Yeah, I do. I got to move.
So let's get into the fight. I assume Tobias is going to follow at a safe distance. Is that right?
What's Tobias's reaction to see his brother come out of the water with a mysterious musket?
And because it's not even like looking at you or acknowledging your presence, like you definitely saw him sort of close his eyes and you thought he was dead, definitely. And then suddenly he's up and out.
I probably
stormed up the beach.
Yeah,
covered in kelp.
Yep.
Yeah, I definitely feel like now I'm being betrayed because I thought that the creature was friend, and now with the current situation, now I'm like, obviously things aren't what they seem. I'm gullible to think that they were the way they were. And
what's your priorities right now?
Yeah, plus I have nothing on me to physically do anything right, because I just dropped everything I had. So I think I had, what did I have? A letter opener, which I could have used as a weapon, but that's gone.
I mean,
so
there's the boat, so there's probably oars or a boat hook or a belaying pin or all sorts of stuff.
There's also a boat that can get you off the island.
Yes, that's what just got me. I was just all of a sudden I thought, well, maybe I'm gonna wait for the right moment to grab Pamela and see if I can get her to go with me.
Okay, awesome. All right. So let's do the showdown. Oh man, I'm so excited and a bit scared.
Can I roll?
Yeah. Can you set the scene
I finally
as well?
succeeded.
All right.
Yeah, I think my role will help me set the scene because it gives me like bonuses.
Yep.
So I actually got an 11, which means that on a success, it's just like old times.
Remember that time you murdered all those sheep?
Yeah, not those times. Maybe those times. Okay. I will definitely pick you are scary as the devil. While facing this danger alone, gain 1+ to your rolls. And I would also like to pick you're deadly as hell. While facing the danger alone, gain 1+ harm. Both of these seem very, very appropriate. And I think from a scene setting perspective, because this is you seeing me right before Isaac's body comes into view. Like, if you were somebody who could see otherworldly things, you would see that this black tar thing is like bubbling out of my body and like sort of swirling like around me. Yeah, exactly. It's like smoke coming off me and like around my musket and my eyes. And the reason why I have these abilities is because I'm sort of infused with supernatural anger, and that's giving me the edge in the situation. And I've, instead of pushing away from that anger, I have absorbed it and I'm working with it.
Ooh.
That's how I picture it.
Oh
Anyway.
man, I am scheming over here.
Uh-huh.
How would you like to approach the situation, Taylor?
Oh man.
How
So
listen?
everyone's indoors, right?
Everyone's indoors, yeah, and it's just Zara or part Zara who's standing outside of that house. As you're coming up, you can see that that's what's waiting for you. And you can face it head on, or...
Well, this is where I would love to trigger the move. This is who I am.
Yep.
Because actually no, I think we're just gonna keep walking and like aware of the threat. And just like the musket's not even up and aimed, just like being held, like trying to call your bluff.
I think as like Calamus is doing this, there's like the voiceover of Isaac saying, "She's more dangerous than she looks."
Yeah.
And then a loud booming voice, "So am I."
And I would imagine that like it's actually like he's actually moving his mouth as like the body is doing that, and you can hear both of the voices coming out of his mouth.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
So
yeah.
Question to Zara.
Yeah.
Do you
Question?
Calamus is trying to call your bluff.
Yeah, look, I think while I've still got some space between me and Calamus, I think I say, back off, Calamus. This is my family. And I didn't know your name before, but I've discovered it throughout a bit of a shared link.
Yeah.
And I guess that I'm trying to... I don't know if that I'm even trying to intimidate you. I'm sort of trying to stake a territorial claim, I guess.
Okay. If I don't back off, what will you do?
Shoot you.
I don't back off.
All right. I'm going to act with force, I guess.
Yes.
But do you want to, like... Because we can play this either way. We can play this as I act with force, or you can use your move while I'm shooting to see what happens.
Yeah, this is where I would love to use my move.
Yeah, because I think your move is cooler. Like,
yeah, that's what I was.
I will try and hinder you, obviously.
This is who I am, is when you reveal your true form to overcome danger or surprise an enemy, roll with balance. And then I'm going to roll right now. And I rolled a 10. My balance is 2, so that is a 12.
Ooh.
Okay, there is no point in hindering you.
Yeah.
But I'm not choosing overcome danger, I'm choosing surprise an enemy.
Okay.
As the body of Isaac falls limp, and the piece of kelp that lies inside of Pamela's locket suddenly springs to life, razor sharp, and pierces Marcus through the chest. As they huddle together in the cottage.
Oh no.
So this is me revealing an opportunity created by my form.
Yep.
Those around you are distracted, and I am immune to harm for a single act.
Yep.
Amazing.
Oh my god, that is so good. Oh my god. Marcus is just shocked because he thought he put up the white flag. And he gets one moment of like surprise, and then totally he just slumps over, and Pamela screams. Her mother screams, and they scramble up and out of the cottage.
Yeah, I think we see Zara's bullet like
Zing
fly straight
No,
into the spot that. Yeah.
Or,
Oh, sorry. No, I was gonna. It hit. I would say it hits. It actually hits its mark, but
Yeah,
doesn't-
that's what I was gonna say.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
yeah.
I think it hits him like dead in the heart, and like
Yeah.
he just falls over as that happens, and it dissipates, and it's like there's that moment of confusion of like, wait, really? And then you hear the screams from inside.
Yeah. Ooh.
Oh,
That. Yeah. That's
horrifying.
terrifying. Horrifying.
Can I read a situation?
Yeah, you can read a situation.
Because I got no idea what's going on right now.
Yeah.
Other than that, Calamus has changed body or
Yeah.
changed form in some way. Oh no! I got a 4. I got a 4.
Get a 4. This situation is incomprehensible to you, and it scares you a lot. You don't know what this thing even wants anymore. It's incomprehensible, and all you hear are the screams of your family, and Pamela running out, streaked with the blood of Marcus. The lockets she's thrown away for sure.
Yeah.
Mhm.
She's scrabbling out of there. I don't think she just runs out and starts making her way down. I think it's sort of flee kind of instinct here.
Yeah. The only person left is my mother, right?
Yeah.
Great.
She's also she'll also she's running away from like there's just confusion.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to, as Pamela is like running away, I want to like catch her by the arm
Mhm.
and be like, get out of here, take mother with you.
Okay. And but sister, what will you do?
No reply. Gone.
Okay. Pamela takes her mother and she's like, I'm so sorry that I brought this upon the family, but we need to get you safe. There's a boat down there. Tobias will have to get into Tobias's boat if we want to live this night. And then they go down towards the beach. Tobias, you see Pamela and her mother coming down towards you. They look shaken and tears streak on down their cheeks. And you see Pamela's got some blood on her eye as they make their way up to you.
I'm gonna try to read Pamela's thoughts.
Okay. Cool. She's saying, "Get the boat ready. Get the boat ready."
Actually, you know what? I'm actually gonna use my test if your love is true.
Okay. Yep. Because how are you testing the love with? Are you she's saying we're gonna get on and leave with you? Are you trying to work out if she's means that? Essentially, is that?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Roll plus beyond.
Okay.
What?
You broke up there for a second.
I don't know.
Oh, sorry. That's a 5.
Okay.
A 5. Your
Oh,
love
no.
holds a secret in their heart that will hurt you. The GM will reveal your love's true heart during this session. Okay, so she's she as far as you can tell, she's there with her mother, and she's in distress, and she's telling you that you need to leave right now, and she's going to go get in the boat with you. So for all intents and purposes, for now, you feel the love, and you think that this is a positive thing that she's going to go with you. So you get the boat ready, and you three are preparing to leave the island. Let's cut back to Zara and Calamus. Calamus, when you just to establish, when the seaweed came out of the locket, is that like your foam sort of like coming out of that one kelp and like, yeah? So you're physically in there. All right, cool.
You're muted, Taylor.
I sure was.
Excellent. All right, so let's cut to your scene then.
Yeah, I think like Calamus right now, there is nothing more that he wants to do besides just like bask in the overflowing emotions, both positive and negative right now. So like if there is any seaweed around, it's just like laying there. Like they are just loving this and not really doing much. But I think that they hear the hoarse cries of the old man, who may be protesting the murder of his son.
Yeah, definitely protesting. I bet, yeah. So Zara, what do you?
I think it's a similar thing, which is that like this kind of wraps up Zara's storyline in a way, because her thing now is like her total and only ambition in life is like find the Calamus thing and end it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the only driving force or emotion that's left in her. But she can't do that right now because she has no idea where it is. Where they are. How do you even
find it anymore? Yeah,
because we already established that I don't know what's going on.
Would it be too weird to have like Isaac's spirit just sort of briefly inhabit his body again after Calamus has left it? And just be like, where did you go? And like, you know, the body is like lying there right in front of Zara.
The father's body.
Because it's Isaac's body, but I don't know, because he's officially dead. His spirit's lying around, but I don't know how much.
The spirit's lying around.
lingers.
Yeah, like I think we could leave it open-ended if you want, Hayley.
Yeah.
Yeah, you prefer it that way, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm sensing from you. That's cool. I like
That's what
that.
I'm kind of sensing from Taylor as well.
Yeah. So that's awesome, though. I love that as an epilogue. Like, it's you're like sort of just turning around you, but it's not like you're seeing anything.
And I think I've permanently got that tar force now in me. So it's kind of two supernatural beings like sparring with each other, which is why it goes on for like the next 100 years or 200 years. Like it doesn't resolve.
It's just part of that's how the mythology of the island. Like, you know, that's the kind of thing that suffuses the place for centuries to come. All right, let's get on. So cutting back on the boat, it's like total silence, almost, you know, like the 6-hour journey on that boat that Tobias and Pamela's, you know, being your second now in the boat because your brother's not there to do so. And her mother's just shivering in the boat. You guys are paddling, you know, like rowing in total silence. Is there anything you'd like to say, Tobias, at this point?
I think that he realizes that what he's coming away with is not what he wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that everything all of a sudden just kind of washes on him, and everybody's sitting there just kind of, shocked and also like, unmoving. And then he just all of a sudden just starts crying and just cannot stop.
And Pamela puts her hand to your back and just like makes calming noises, and she's trying real hard not to break down as well. But she doesn't say anything to ease your pain. And dawn breaks while you're on the water. It reflects off the water, golden, as your boat makes it to the sandbank on the mainland. And you three step out. And you, Tobias, you nod and you're walking forward. And as the game ends, essentially, you turn around and she's with her mother on the boat still, and turns around and looks at towards the direction of the island. And that is the end of this scenario.
Yay! We made the sad, creepy stuff happen.
Look, I mean, Alas is always sad, but that is like the saddest game of Alas I've ever played.
That was incredible.
Oh,
Thank you.
All sad all the time.
Yeah.
No, thanks, Vee. That was really great.
Yeah, that was a ton of fun.
Awesome. Yeah.
I have been blessed with
Yeah, what will outsad the next thing? Holy smokes. That's basically what that was. Holy smokes.
Yeah.
That was
It was.
awesome.
I mean, I wonder if Tobias even thinks it's worth it as well at the end, because I know that Pablo certainly does not.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's why he was crying, because it was just like,
this can't work. And of course, like, his older brother's dead, and how was his father going to take that? And now they're supposed to take care of these two people, like
that they were trying to get rid of in the first place.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
man.
sorry. That was
Part 2 would never end well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Well, that was amazing. Thank you, Vee, for running that. That was so awesome.
It was awful.
That was a tragedy if I've ever had one.
Yeah, exactly. If you want to take yourself down a couple of notches, here you go. But I mean, but in a good way. I mean, it's really, just amazing. Yeah. So, if you want Alas for the Awful Sea, make sure you go to storybrewersroleplaying.com. Pick up a copy if you haven't already. Taylor's showing it right now.
This is the Wind in the Waves.
Ooh. Oh, yep, that's the scenario we were playing.
Yep.
And like, there's that
beautiful.
There's that whole mermaid thing going on right now, right? With all the drawings of the mermaids going around on Twitter. So it's like, in the mood for this.
Yeah. I was originally going to capitalize on mermaid, but then I saw one of the attributes for the creature is very large.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Yes, please.
Yeah.
What is just inscrutably big that I could play?
Yeah.
And it worked so well.
Yeah, it's so great. I love the myth of the whole thing as well. It felt it's so on point with the feel of like the atmosphere that I was hoping it had. Because it
it played well. Everyone played their part definitely well.
And I love that the fact that there's the creature playbook, or is it a playbook or is it a
description?
Description. Okay, description. Yeah. Like that combined with it's Taylor, so of course it's going to be amazing and spooky. But like that really set the tone as far as like, no, this is going to be a major part of the story right from the beginning. You knew that there was this otherworldly creature, so it let us know that this is going to be dark, this is going to be all those things that were already there sort of in the text of the game already, but like it brought it. So that was awesome.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Oh, sorry.
I was going to say, so in the scenario as written, usually there's sort of two parts to this. One is on the island, and two is like when they're on the water. Like, but I love that we had so much material that the whole thing happened on that island, and then when you left, like the story had resolved itself. That's very not the way that this adventure usually runs, but it works really well.
This was the same adventure that you guys did for Senda and Emily, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
Totally different, right?
Version,
Yeah, it was like so different. It's awesome.
Yeah.
I really like that scenario for this reason. It's so different every time.
Yeah. And if with any Apocalypse world, if you've got the guts to just let the players take this as GM, I guess, let the players drive the story, then you're always going to get like a totally different story, even if it starts the same, which is why I love it. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Cool. I don't know. I'm still processing. I was like, wow.
Yeah, me too.
Yep, you'll still be thinking about it later, of course.
Yeah.
So let's do some promotional stuff. So what's coming up for Storybrewers now that Alas has been so amazing, and now you guys are working on your Good Society RPG. What's coming up next?
I'll let Hayley answer this one. I've spoken a lot.
Yeah, Good Society is definitely like our main focus at the moment. We're in the final playtesting stages and getting stuff to the printer in the next couple of months. So that's very exciting. And then after that, I get to make all the delicious expansions for it. I've actually already started working on sensibility and swordsmanship, and I'm really excited to play that for the first time. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of development on Good Society. We would love to be able to do some more we want to support Alas as well, if we can do more descriptors, like a mini expansion PDF at some point as well.
We've got a quick start video of it that's hopefully going to be around soon. So if you're watching this and you don't know how to play it, that should run you through it. So that's useful. Yeah, exactly. As well.
So we've got a few more things to do with that, but mostly Good Society. Beyond that, I don't know. We've got a lot of plans as always, but
plans and dreams.
The pipeline is long, but nothing super set in stone yet.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure it's all going to be great because, I mean, this was great, and there's just I've heard nothing but good things. So thank you for coming on and running this and playing it. It was amazing. Taylor and Richard, you guys are working on this Descent into Midnight. When is it ever going to come out? I mean, I want it now. So
I wanted it yesterday.
Funny thing about that, I know I've been tweeting about it, but Taylor went and because we've been brainstorming and one document, we have this thing over here. We've run a bunch of a couple of different play tests online and at a Catacon in November. But Taylor went through, put it all together, and has been just a machine on getting descriptions of the moves and we've got the move itself, but then he's been adding GM advice and everything and putting it all together. So we've got that. It's 42 pages, I think, for the Ashcan doc, not counting any play materials. And then I've been going through and editing it. Rich has been taking a look at it, and we're hoping, at the rate we're going, I'm hoping to have that edited in the next week or so. Okay. So I mean, we've been talking maybe about doing a public call for some playtesters in the next couple of weeks, I think. So yeah, I definitely I've got 2 sessions of it that I'm going to be running for a Catacon line that the RPG Academy is doing in a week or 2, and I'm hoping I'll get to Gen Con, and we're going to be running a ton of sessions at Gen Con between Rich and Taylor and myself. So yeah, and then as far as
we'll have a sign-up sheet in just a little bit here, actually. Hopefully the next couple of days. For people to here's my email. I would love to do this. So we can start gathering that and start getting that out. We'll talk offline, Hayley V, and also Kurt. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, that's really exciting. I'm glad to hear that the ash can's almost ready to consume for them.
Yeah.
That's going to be awesome.
Mm.
Yeah, lots of weird oceanic marine facts going into this, and I feel like every day I'm learning something like super cool and weird, and like I can't stop telling people about the barrel eye fish that's got a transparent skull that it looks through with like eyes that are inside of it and are like the only thing out there that uses like mirror lenses inside of its eyes, and like it's got these vestigial eye sockets on there, and I'm like, this is so cool, this should be in your role-playing games if it's not, you know. So yeah, Rich has given me that bug of like, you know, going to the world and saying the ocean is super cool, you should play games in it, you know.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but sometimes
I can't
it's
wait
also
to see
just
that.
monsters and it's scary.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The ocean is terrifying, but it's also really silly. Like there's a pea shark.
Yes.
A shark with urea in its blood. To keep it from freezing in the horrible like ice cold water.
You cannot make this shit up.
And it looks exactly like you would think a pea shark looks.
Yes, it is a pea anti-freeze shark.
Oh my god.
Are those the ones that lived to like 400 years or something up in Greenland or whatever it is?
Yeah.
Like, whoa.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Iceland.
All right.
Iceland, yeah.
Where is it?
That is crazy.
Yeah. But I mean,
that's
like
a cartoon of a shark.
Oh yeah.
It's the silliest thing. But anyway, yes, that's where Descent into Midnight is.
Yes.
Sweet.
Brilliant.
Sweet. That's awesome. I love it. So again, thanks to Hayley G, thanks to V, thanks to Richard, thanks to Taylor. I am Kurt. This is another episode of MFGCast, and thank you for watching.
Bye.
See you later.
Bye. Thanks for watching.